Hey, welcome to another week of One Purpose Magazine digital show. I am here at the top of the year. Welcome to 2022. I am happy to be here. I am happy to be engaging in commentary again to get us thinking about some of the issues that we create, that we're a part of, that we avoid, that we think about but don't talk about because it's just way too many opinions out there. Way too many opinions. And but anyway, that's what commentary is really. It's opinion, and we all have one, but it's very important to base our opinion in facts, research, studies, just to generate conversation, not to act like we know it all, because we don't. That's the point of research, to come closer to the truth, to come closer to an understanding so that we can make decisions, right? That's what it's all about. Doesn't make us know-it-alls. Get out of people's comment section acting like you know everything or like you did a clinical study. Stop that just because you read something. Speaking of, this is commentary. We just talking. We having conversation, right? So speaking of, yesterday I was watching the press conference of Chicago's Mayor Lightfoot, and a reporter asked the I can't think of her name, Dr. Ari, I believe. She is over the I think it's the Department of Public Health, maybe. And correct me if I'm wrong, or if you have the answer, I welcome correction. But a reporter was asking her a question, and it was in relation to a research. Reporters, writers, journalists do a lot of research. We read a lot, okay? We read more than probably the average person, because we have to probe, we have to ask questions, we have to have commentary. So we do a lot of reading of research papers, journal articles, if you will, data analysis. And the reporter asked the question of the expert epidemiologist, I want to say. I don't know. But when he asked the question, I guess it offended the mayor because the mayor said, oh, he read an article and he's going to challenge you. Who is the expert? The person who writes these types of reports. So anyway, I thought that was, I had a moment where I laughed, like, here she go. Don't diminish what we do. That's what reporters do. They are sent to challenge and ask questions. Just because it makes you uncomfortable don't mean you have to come for people. I'm just saying. I want peace among us all, but sometimes you have to call things out as they are. And speaking of the press conference last night, it was about CPS and the issues that they're having with Chicago's teachers union. CTU. I have been having a hard time understanding this myself. I just don't get it. And when something is confusing, when something isn't clear, I think that's when we're dabbling in a lot of ego. Because it's not making sense. It's a lot of ego and pride in the middle of it. And in order to make sense of it, you have to break through that. I can't make sense of it. So I'm just like, here we are talking about economic development with One Purpose Magazine, closing wealth gaps and Black excellence of the past that got us here. And CPS, paired with CTU, cannot get it together to put kids in Chicago on the path to success. Yes, I said it. They cannot get it together long enough to put the kids on the path to success. Every school around me in the suburban areas, I live near, my kid is in school in Indiana, and every school around me have found a way to move forward with the children and there not be any contention in the midst of the situation. Yet you have Chicago public school system in this battle of if and when. I'm thinking to myself, it's a whole school district, a whole school system. How come there was not a plan in place prior to the kids going on break for the winter break? We knew about the virus that was Omicron. We knew about it before the kids went on break, but we also knew about the Delta variant and other variants, and we know through science and research that the winter season bring more illnesses when it comes to these viruses. We know that the flu is this is the season for the flu. We know that this is a time where people are around each other, and a uptick in viral spread is possible. Right? We know this. This isn't news to us. We know we're still in a pandemic. The pandemic didn't go anywhere. Where's the plan? Now, you all know previously that I had broken down plans that have come out of this administration in Chicago. And, they plan things out. Things are broken down for the economic development of different areas throughout Chicago. We have gone through some of those plans with a fine-tooth comb. And so I'm just thinking to myself, where is the plan for the children? Who drops the ball when it comes to these kids collectively? I'm not saying, listen, it's not my job to point the finger and say that it's anyone's fault. You have different entities involved here that can, you all know that I do everything. So my computer died, and as I'm recording. So anyway, we all know that there are different entities, different levels of governing structures and local structures that help make these decisions, that bring things to the table. I'm just confused on what happened. Why is the ball dropped? Why is the mayor of Chicago on TV reprimanding the teachers union? Why is the city bringing court cases to the teachers union about the kids simply being in school? Why are they not remote? Why are the teachers shut out? Why do they not know? Today is Thursday. Why do they not know if they're going to be in class on tomorrow? I mean, not tomorrow. They won't be in class. Will they be in class tomorrow? Like, what's going to happen on the 18th? Are they going to come back on the 18th after MLK Day? I'm confused, just like everybody else. And it just leads me back to the point. Why are the kids not the priority? Why was there no plan in place? Like, it's complicated. I get it. But there are so many cities throughout this country that's figuring it out. And we know that the virus is out there. We know that it puts vulnerable people in jeopardy when it comes to their health. We get that. We understand that. But there should be plans in place to protect the vulnerable. There should be plans in place to have everyone tested regularly. I won't go into what people found in the past. How do you move forward? How do you prevent this from happening? How do we as the community get involved and say, this is unacceptable? Our kids, these kids, our children, it's not, my kid is in school. My kid is, I have no complaints, but these are our children. This is our future. It's not about me and mine. It's about our collective community. Didn't we just not come out of Kwanzaa? Didn't we talk about this for 7 days, the principles and responsibilities of the African American community? Like, this is a problem. And this is a people of color problem, because Chicago is huge, but most of the families that's impacted by this are people of color. And it's a people of color problem because you have blacks, you have Mexican communities, you have, Chicago is a city of segregated diversity. We know that. So you have different ethnic backgrounds, you have different nationalities throughout Chicago, but the majority that's impacted are people of color. So we have to find our way around this. The virus, the variants of this coronavirus, it's not leaving. It's here to stay. We have to figure out how to manage our lives with it. And if that comes with some type of fluctuating balance of being in, being out, being off, being on, we have to figure that out. Or being in and managing when we're in the illnesses that may come up in the process. It's just so confusing when you have so much ego and these personalities trying to prove that they're right. I believe the decision should be on the side of the science, but in this particular situation in Chicago, the science ain't following the science. And I mean, you can dig into that and discover what you may, but it's just a lot that's uncomfortable, and it just seems like it is this contention that happens between the mayor's office and CTU that's a problem, and it's getting in the way of advancing children. And that's when people who are culture whips, people who call things out as they are, have to step up and say something and tell them to check their egos. Put your egos in check, okay? Stand before whatever your faith is and whoever you believe in, stand before them and say, am I doing this right? Because I have a lot of people that I'm responsible for. Like, you have to do that. We have to do that. And in order to move on, y'all got to pull it together, because these kids are suffering. These are kids of the future. Chicago kids ain't nothing to play with. And I'm here to tell you, I've mentored a lot of them, and they have set me down in my lack of understanding of their knowledge and their abilities and things like that. They are phenomenal. CPS kids are phenomenal. A lot of them are phenomenal. Do not get it twisted. They know multiple languages, and not only do they know multiple languages, they know hood. They know street, so I'm enamored and I admire many of the kids that come out of CPS. They are my preferred children to actually mentor because they are so teachable. Chicago public school system kids are very teachable. They know what they want. They are intellects, and they are so intelligent, intelligent beyond measure. And this is from my personal experience. So get it together for the sake of these kids. They deserve it. They deserve it. And with that being said, since we're talking about what caused all of this chaos in Chicago, this Omicron variant. Omicron. Why can't I get it right? You all will find that I make a lot of mistakes with pronouncing my words, but this one, it has had me hung up since I reported on it originally. But speaking of things that I would talk about, speaking of stuff that I talk about, I posted a while ago, not a while ago, but at the top of the Omicron variant coming into awareness, when we found out that it was in the States, and they began to learn more and more about it from the reports that were coming out of South Africa, where the Omicron variant originated, that, it was given mild symptoms and it wasn't impacting people, or, the death count from this virus was not as high as it was with the original variant and the Delta variant. And so I posted on my Facebook page a what if, because, I'm an optimist. I like to employ optimism wherever I can because I like to live my life, right? So I said, what if this is the miracle variant? What if this is the variant that gives us the antibodies to fight off all the stronger variants that may come along? Not to do away with vaccines or say anything about the vaccines. I still believe that being vaccinated is important. But this variant was moving fast and it was making a lot of people sick, but they were not getting, especially there wasn't attacking the respiratory system like the original variant. And sure enough, I began to hear stories about how this Omicron variant may end up helping people with its virals, with giving people the antibodies that it's needed to fight off the virus, the future viruses that may come along. And I read the story in the Wall Street Journal. Let me see if I can find it. But I thought that was a very interesting concept. So the story that I read was not saying to go out and get the virus, of course, or try to get this variant or this virus, or try to get sick to save yourself. It wasn't saying that. It was just saying simply that if so happen you get the virus, that the possibility that it can help you in the long run is quite possible, which is a very interesting thing, because it helps us feel like, to some degree, there's a possibility that we can come out of this thing, and help us gain an understanding and moving forward that, like, what we have to monitor in our communities, like when the viruses do come along, who the vulnerable people that we have to protect. I mean, we just have to start incorporating this virus into our lifestyles and our understanding, like we have done with the flu. And, what the Omicron variant is showing out of South Africa is that this virus performs a lot like the flu, even with, the causes of death. Unfortunately, we do have to factor in people dying when it comes to certain illnesses and viruses. Even with the flu, we have to factor it in. With catching pneumonia, we have to factor in that. Unfortunately, people will die. And, when you start studying, when, they study these viruses and they start weighing the cost of them and how it harms people and things like that, I think that's the death of these variants and how many people die in certain areas, and if they had previous illnesses or a sickness or some type of immune deficiency or something that they were autoimmune deficiency that they were battling with, all those things become a factor, as with any other virus, especially using the flu as an example. So I think that I personally think, and this is opinion, this is commentary, that we'll see more of these variants of coronavirus. And we just have to say, lean on the science to say this one is, this is one that we have to watch because it is attacking the body like the original one. Okay, this is one that is going to perform like the flu. Make sure you're vaccinated. We have to, this is the way I feel like we have to start thinking. Everyone is talking about, well, should we go into a lockdown? I totally disagree with the lockdowns. I think that they are problematic. I have seen the reports of what the cost of lockdowns are when it comes to people dying, when it comes to drug overdose and isolation, the issues that it caused. We saw violence skyrocket after the lockdowns that we experienced with the original variant. And I'm not willing to pay that price again. I don't want to pay that price again. I don't want to see people suffering, the way suicides among children went up, the after effect of us being on lockdown was very traumatic. It was horrible. We don't need that again. I know other countries are going into the state of lockdown, but looking at the numbers of people who were impacted, especially from drug overdose and domestic violence, all of these issues that plague our society, those numbers skyrocketed. And the cost is not, it's something that we have to factor in when we think about these things. It is something that we have to conceptualize into our thinking when we think about what we're asking for leadership in this country to do. I think that one thing that we forget is that as divided as we are in this together. We are a country that are made up, a country that's made up of so many different people, diverse backgrounds, but in the long scheme of things, we are all Americans. And so we have to take that into consideration when we spew our point of view and think, like, broaden our thinking and understand that it's more to it than just what's going on in our peripheral view. So with that being said, I didn't give any updates today. I'm going to end the conversation there because I just want to get us to thinking. I didn't have any updates today. I would like for you all to check out the website. Check out jpology.com. My book is still on sale there, for sale. Now it's not on sale. The price is $8.95. So it can't get any less expensive than that, or I'll just be giving it away for free. But it's there for sale at $8.95. I do have new candles up. I have some new merch. This shirt is a shirt that I'll be putting on the website. It says, have the courage to be disliked. Have the courage to be disliked. I mean, it's okay. They'll get over it. People will get over it. So with that being said, until next week, I'll holler at you all. Peace.